that sound exciting to you?
Hey, yes indeedy! Welcome back, Shadow Nation, to the greatest fans this side of the universe. The Shadow Nation, welcome back to your Ghostman and Demon Hunter show, the one and only Mystifying Oracle Radio. Your Ghostman and Demon Hunter show. Demon Hunter!
Ghostman and Demon Hunter, now almost legal in 3 states.
Almost legal in 3 states. Special thanks to all our homes, all our sponsors, Stitcher Smart Radio, Action Audio Apps. Hey, are you listening? Check them out. They want to know. ActionAudioApps.com, 102.7 FM, Planet Paranormal, and all the rest, guys. Paranormal A in Canada. We love you guys. Thanks for being so darn cool on another Sunday night.
Aren't you glad we have no lives and we can be here every Sunday night just to entertain you?
I like doing that. Anyway, we got that all fit in there. Did you see how I did that?
I saw that. That was pretty cool.
I chopped it up. I actually switched up the intro because usually we go, hey, welcome back, Shadow Nation, to the one, the only, Mystifying Oracle of... Go ahead, Nathan. Take the rest of it.
Radio, your Ghostman and Demon Hunter show. Sean says your Ghostman and Demon Hunter show every week, even though it's
every Sunday.
Our Ghostman and Demon Hunter show.
Yeah, it's ours. We make it for them, and it's yours.
I put some time into it, man.
No, not really. Yeah, not really. Anyway, guys, it smells like Sunday night. That's because it is.
Yeah, I smell the socks from here. Sean's got his shoes off under the table.
This is true. Hey, it's Alien Month.
It is.
Ghostman and Demon Hunter show. We've been going Alien Crunch Time crazy.
Yes, the reptilian overlords have told me we have to stop.
Have they been in contact with you?
The subterranean reptilian overlords have said that we are pushing the boundaries of acceptable behavior because we might start changing people's minds that all this is just nonsense and it's something they should worry about, and that could affect the lives of the reptilian overlords.
That's what you guys talk about at your super secret meeting, because everybody knows you're Mason One World Order. Right? That's what happens.
Yes. And I'm telling you, the day that the Masons can put together a pancake breakfast that actually makes money, the next day we're taking over the world.
Well, that's probably true. You guys will make money someday. I'm confident.
Hello, I'm Mr. Red.
Was that too long? Was that too long?
That took up way too much time.
That did take up too much time. Well, I'm trying some new bumpers here. Bear with me, man. That was Godzilla. That was loud, though, wasn't it?
That was a little bit up there,
Let's check it again. How was that? Godzilla's still coming in hot. But that is Godzilla. I had to add that to the famous bumpers of the G&D show. Those of you guys that just tuning in, if you're not in the chat room, which we gave detailed instructions this week on how to do it, apparently there are some challenged ones out there at the Shadow Nation. That's okay, because we love you guys. Welcome aboard the SS Shadow Nation, the best fans, as I said, this side of the universe. We got a great show in store for you. Demon Hunter!
If you're just joining us now, get to the chopper.
Take it away. What's the chopper? What'd you say? Oh!
The chopper. The chopper.
The chopper. Is that short slang?
Get to the chopper.
Is that Boston for chat room?
Oh, it was Arnold. Sorry.
Oh, the chopper. Get to the chopper.
The chopper.
I was
get
saying
to the chopper. It was Arnold living in Boston.
Anyway, tonight's guest!
Pakia Khan, the Harvard Yard.
The Harvard. Not a stone's throw from Harvard Yard. Tonight's guest! Hey, he's got a bachelor's degree, Demon Hunter, in psychology and in film and literature. He has researched and investigated historical and contemporary reports of UFO sightings. He's written several articles about phantom airships seen over Britain in 1909 and 1913. He is the author of Portraits of Alien Encounters, Supernatural Spielberg, the UFO Investigation Files, and his brand new book that we break the code on tonight and talk all about it, UFOs of the First World War, due out this month. Please, guys, get ready for Mr. Nigel Watson, UFO researcher, everything UFO extraordinaire. I was trying to think of what Nigel said. Anyway, guys, author, lecturer, researcher, Nigel
Awesome
Watson.
guy.
Yeah. Once again, we asked the question. I'm not going to do it. We know we're not alone in the universe. Nigel Watson, guys, tonight in studio. No, I was going to say, you know, in the Britons, the British, the Britons. That's the
those
way we
Britons. You know those Britons.
Those darn
people
Britons.
who live in that country, Britannius.
Nigel is awesome. He's from Plymouth, not Plymouth, Massachusetts.
No,
Plymouth,
that
Wales.
original Plymouth.
Yeah, he's got the cool accent. I mean, it was amazing. We got to talk to him earlier this week, say how to do. Tell him to scoop tonight. He's so excited to come on. We're so excited to have him on. Who'd we have last week? Nick Pope, right?
Nick Pope.
Yeah,
and
guys.
Before that, it was Stephen Bassett.
Stephen Bassett. We are running the gauntlet, my friends, on the UFO big cats. They're coming in here. I mean, you know, first stop Congress. Well, first stop G&D show. Second stop Congress.
Right. you know, Sean, when you find yourself sitting in the backyard now that it's getting warmer.
Oh, man, it's getting beautiful. Is it not getting pretty out? I was out there today.
That squirrel runs up and sits in front of you and just stares at you with those giant black eyes.
I kill it.
And 20 minutes later, you realize you don't know what happened for the last 20 minutes. Don't say I didn't warn you about the subterranean reptilian overlords.
This is true. Speaking of which...
Yes, sir.
Subterranean overlords. Say it again. Say that 3 times real fast.
Subterranean reptilian overlords. Subterranean reptilian overlords.
Faster.
Subterranean reptilian overlords.
Because you say it at least 12 times each show since you came out with that. You coined that phrase.
They deserve our praise. Oh, hail the subterranean reptilian overlords.
Anyway, Arizona UFO spotted, caught on video. Did you hear about this?
You and your UFOs. Don't you know we're alone in the universe, Sean?
We're on this UFO kick. I thought that we would stay to it. Of course, the video's blurry and choppy. You know?
No.
Yeah. But
does Bigfoot show up in it?
Maybe what was that thing? Maybe Bigfoot really is blurry.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Anyway, the object in question, they say, guys, comes in and out of view with the camera and appears to be moving, and then it stops moving for a while. While the footage is poor, it certainly has an amateur vibe about it, and the old Blair Witch type of feel with the camera. With all that said, there is no doubt something unusual is caught on video here. And then it's, you guys got to look it up. Just look up the Arizona UFO spotted this week, guys. It just kind of, it's just there. It's hovering. And it's just staying in one, which I'm thinking drone. You know what I'm saying?
Drone?
I'm thinking drone.
You don't think people were just, like, stuffed on all that pie they ate yesterday, Sean, that they were seeing things?
Why would they be eating pie? Enlighten me.
Because yesterday was Pie Day.
Oh!
That's right, Pie Day, Sean. It was March 14th, which in general is Pie Day.
Yeah.
3.14.
Okay.
But yesterday, what happens only once in 100 years, it was the 15th year, therefore it was 3.1415.
Oh.
And then at 9:26 a.m.,
yeah,
it was 3.1415926.
Yeah.
And then at 53 seconds past that, it was 3.14159265.3.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's and if you could break your clock down to multi-seconds, then you could go 5.9 past that, and pretty soon you could spend the day just figuring out the rotation of the Earth.
See, you could spend your time doing so much more.
Don't you dare try to stifle me.
I'm stifling your creativity with pie.
With pie, and I had pie. It was good pie. I had pizza pie, and then I had apple pie. I had to buy my apple pie out of the vending machine because there was no other pie around.
See?
Don't you dare try to stifle me.
I am going to stifle you soon.
See, I've adjusted the sound on those, but, you know, still got to try it. You know, let's try this.
Oh my God, I shot my eye out.
Remember that one? I shot my eye out with pie.
With pie.
Anyway.
I don't know what you were doing with the pie, Sean.
Hey, have you heard about Edward Snowden? here lately? For those listeners out there who don't know Edward Snowden, he's the guy on the run, on the lam from the United States government. Got a hold of some top secret information. You remember that, Nathan?
I kind of remember that. That's been going on a little bit now, hasn't it?
Yeah, he popped up. I was listening to Rush Limbaugh, another show. And
I heard he gets a few listeners.
Yeah, he's got a couple. So old Rush gets on the air, and he's talking about Edward Snowden and how, I guess, he was trying to... Apple software, apparently, is the only software that the government has, and this comes from Snowden, something like this. My details, don't quote me, guys. It's not, I'm paraphrasing, but they said something about Snowden said that he had found the government documents stating that Apple, not Apple, but Microsoft was the only type of, God, what was it? Files that they can't get into. You know, they're spying on the public. They've been doing it for years. But they couldn't crack the code to be able to
now wait a minute.
Eavesdrop through Microsoft.
Anybody who's hacking anything gets into Microsoft. Are you sure they didn't mean Apple?
Maybe it was Apple. I don't know. I just said.
Because Apple is the one that you don't even have to put virus protection on your computer.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you have an Apple. You don't have to buy virus protection.
No, I don't think so, my friend.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't
Sorry to argue with you on this show because we never do that.
Yeah, government spying on the citizens. Anyway, I had heard something about that. NSA surveillance exposed, Edward Snowden, global surveillance disclosures. Anyway, I was listening to it today. Maybe it was Apple. Apple software is the one that the government had stated they're unable to crack to be able to spy on people, what they're looking at, things like that.
But we just bought PCs to run the show, Sean.
Yeah, I know. Well, if Obama really wants to check out our show, come right. Hey, maybe that. Maybe.
Hey, speaking of presidents, this day in 1767, Andrew Jackson was born.
Was he? Are we going to do in the this week in history? Or are we?
No, I just figured I'd throw them in between here.
Yeah, why not? Throw up
every now and then when you remind me of something that should be brought up.
Yeah. Anyway,
throw something in.
Well, that's funny you said that. Andrew Jackson, right?
Andrew Jackson.
Andrew
yes.
Jackson. Well, it's funny you bring up the president, sir, because, I said we might have a good chance at getting President Obama, on our show. Because, this week, Mr. Obama could be seen on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Did you hear about this?
Well, we're almost there.
Yeah. And there was a big article on it, and it said Obama says space aliens control the USA. Was he joking? ?
I'd feel safer.
Yeah, I bet you would. One of your own. On last night's Jimmy Kimmel Live, President Barack Obama made a strange UFO admission. He said space aliens control the USA, and they are responsible for the government secrecy about UFOs. According to the LA Times and New York Magazine, Obama's admission was nothing more than a joke made in a late-night comedy show highlighting his dry sense of humor. But was it? Of course you knew they were going to go nuts over this, man. A recent disclosure about UFO secrecy by John Podesta, Obama's former White House counselor. You know about this, Nathan. Every one of our guests that's been on the last month has brought up the name John Podesta.
Yes.
The tweet heard round the world where he said his biggest failure of 2014, his term or whatever, was not bringing forth the disclosure on the UFO files. Yeah, so they're all bringing
he failed. He lost. Make sure you don't vote for anybody he supports because he's a loser.
Yeah, Obama's former White House counselor to climate change and energy policy suggested Obama was serious about the situation he had no control over. Here's what Obama said in response to Kimmel, according to the LA Times. You didn't see this?
I did not see this.
Well, this was really good. You need to look it up, guys. Don't do it right now. Wait till after the show. Kimmel, I guess, he was wanting to know whether Obama had tried to get to the bottom of the UFO files about the mysterious desert region known as Area 51. You know how they always go straight to Area 51.
Of course.
So if there are aliens, they wouldn't be
because we know there's an Area 51.
Yes. Well, now we know. But if there was aliens, it would be ill-advised at this point to store
Didn't we
them.
just discuss
Area 51.
recently about them opening up Area 51 to people?
That was last year, I think.
Yeah.
Isn't that when they came forward? Last year or the year? I don't know. We've been on the air too long.
Yeah.
Anyway. It says the aliens won't let it happen. Kimmel was asking the president about the mysterious region known as Area 51. And he said, Obama said, the aliens won't let it happen. Obama joked. He said, you'd reveal all their secrets. They'd exercise strict control over us. But President Clinton once said he'd checked on the matter and found nothing. All right, that's what Kimmel said in response. Kimmel protested. He continued to say, Clinton said he's found nothing. Obama replied, that's what we're instructed to say. That was our President of the United States on air. Huh? I mean, for the first time ever, Bill Clinton and Obama, even to joke about something like that in a time, to be a figurehead, like the President of the United States, and to even joke or suggest about that, you know what that's going to cause. You know what I'm saying? And they've already had, the Phoenix Lights. We had Dr. Lynn Keatseye on. And I forget the gentleman's name that had the press conference. Remember the ex-mayor of Phoenix? And after everybody had seen these lights, he had a press...
right.
Yeah, he had a press conference the next day, and he had a guy walk out in an alien costume and said, this just goes to show you guys are entirely too serious. And, of course, he apologized, days later. I wonder if Obama is going to... Because, the White House is getting drilled with phone calls right now. I mean, he said it with a straight face. I mean, he said that's what we're instructed to say. So it's pretty cool. Even, the president has a sense of humor either way. And, but, like we had Nick Pope on, stuff like that. And Stephen Bassett, he said he doesn't think that the people we think would know really do. Like the president and the Congress and stuff like that. They're on a need to know.
Well, I just have to say, in response to that, hold on one second, I'm receiving a note.
Yes.
I am supposed to say the president was joking. There are no aliens.
Aliens?
Laugh out loud.
LOL. Was that straight
Sorry,
from the
that's,
president or his
no,
reptilian
that was, from the
overlords?
overlords.
Okay. Just to make sure.
Sean, I mean, he's the same guy who, is trying to increase his image by what was the last thing he did? Go on like Saturday Night Live or something like that?
Yeah, I think he did. Well, Obama's proven to be the cool and hip president. He's done SNL. Now he's doing Kimmel. He came on and he's showing people he has a sense of humor. But if you remember, Nathan, and I wish I'd have pulled up this clip. If you remember when he was campaigning and they were doing debates, and I forget the senator that he was running against, that was running for president of the United States, on the panel, they were asked the question, do you believe... well, they had popped this other senator that was running against Obama. I wish I had his name. And they said, Shirley MacLaine was his granddaughter. And they quoted Shirley MacLaine out of a book that she had wrote that the senator said he had seen a UFO and he felt a strong personal connection with this thing, which, eventually probably ruined this guy's run for president. He basically said he spoke telepathically with the UFO. Right or wrong, believe it or not, most of the closed-minded people of the world are going to say, no, it can't be. We don't want this guy leading us. So when they get to Obama, after they laugh at this guy, and the guy says, now, hold on now. I said I seen a UFO. That's an unidentified flying object. I didn't say I seen little green men and all that. They got to Obama, and they asked him the same question. Senator Obama, or I'm sorry, Mr. Obama, do you believe in extraterrestrials or life on other planets? And he said, I don't know. But I do know that there's life on this planet, and we're not attending to it. So that was his answer to that. So as a man...
That doesn't seem like a political answer at all.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. It was quick. He was on his toes, but I'm saying, we've came a certain ways there. And I'm just saying, there's certain things the president of the United States you wouldn't think would even joke about. And you got John Podesta coming forward. I really think that the president doesn't know, Nathan. He knows something's going on, but he doesn't know.
You don't think he's just trying to get people relaxed about the idea so they can accept it when it happens, Sean?
People are being drip-fed?
Yes.
They might be. I mean, I don't know. I don't say I have all the answers, but I have a lot of them, you know? And
Hey.
I definitely think the aliens are there. You know?
There you go. Hey, Sean, are you ready for the Ides of March?
The Ides of March?
The Ides of March. I-D-E-S. The
Go ahead.
Ides of March.
I'm ready, I guess. I don't know what it is.
The Ides of March started with the death of Julius Caesar, 44 BC. That's right, folks. We still use BC on this this show, not before the Common Era. We just go the BC.
Hey, are you...
But hey, 44 BC, Julius
doing
Caesar,
history here.
Marcus Julius Caesar, and Gaius Caesar,
Yeah.
Longinus, stabbed to death by
Longinus.
conspirators. 60 conspirators joined together to try and kill off the monarch, the position of Caesar held by Gaius Julius Caesar at the time.
Oh, man.
And began the Ides of March, and that was 44 BC, so 44 plus 2000.
Yeah, the Ides.
2015, so we're good. We're
No.
good. It's all going well here.
Yeah. We should have saved that for This Week in History.
I'm just throwing This Week in History in here, place to place, because, I mean, after all, it was today in history that Washington put an end to the Newburgh conspiracy. Hey, there you go.
The Newburgh.
Up your butt, Joe Boo.
I don't know how that compared to the Newburgh conspiracy, but okay.
It's Joe Boo, man. I do it myself. Go ahead. Tell us all about the...
You want to know about the Newburgh conspiracy? Really?
You're dragging now. You're reaching because you want time to Google it. See, you didn't know. You didn't.
I'm waiting for the page to load. What are you talking about?
While you're waiting for that.
Washington puts an end to the Newburgh conspiracy. On the morning of March 15th, 1783, George Washington makes a surprise appearance at the Assembly of the Army Officers of Newburgh, New York, to calm the growing frustration and distrust they had been openly expressing towards the Congress in the previous few weeks. Angry with Congress for failing to honor its promise to pay them for its failure to settle accounts and repayment of food and clothing, officers began critically and anonymously writing letters condemning the Congress and calling for a revolt. So it was 1783. Washington just showed up and said, knock it off.
Yeah.
And when Washington says something, you know people listen because he was a Mason and served the subterranean reptilian overlords.
Again, the one world order. Yeah, the one world order. Hey, Nathan, I wanted to bring up before I forget, and you didn't remind me, of course, our good friends at the SYL Project. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, you folks of the Shadow Nation, first-time listeners just joined us, you might want to know what the SYL Project is. Well, basically, it's a project to share your love. It's doing good for others. And right now, Nathan, our good friend Sandy Merritt owns the SYL Project, and they're asking for donations. They have a 39-year-old single mother with stage 3 colon cancer. Very sad issue, guys. They're fighting this, and they're trying to get all donations that they can to be made to the SYL Project. Of course, you go to www.sylproject.com between now and April 1st. And right there they have one of the fund accounts. You can go fund me, and it says they're trying to put together a care package for her and her 7-year-old daughter, guys. So, you know what? Help be... we supported the Susan G. Komen 3-day race for the cure before. Everybody knows we're cancer fighters, guys. Get in there. Share some love today. Go to the sylproject.com. Give a little to get a little, folks. Get in there. Check them out. Help them out.
Please note, all donations go directly to SYL and are not sent to the Ghostman and Demon Hunter show.
They are not at all. That is not our website. Our website is www.ghostanddemon.com. Hey, we wanted to get that out there too, Nate.
We did. www.ghostanddemon.com. That's GhostAnddemon.
Right.
.com. 2 D's in there, folks.
Because you guys might hear us on a lot of other, we have a lot of homes, a lot of sponsors, a lot of carriers out there. And if you guys like the Ghostman and Demon Hunter show, go to, like my brother said, ghostanddemon.com. You can get the latest news on G&D show and the Shadow Nation and what's going on and who's our guest up next week. We also have a Facebook page, Twitter account, you name it. So
and
get
I
in
think
there.
we're probably going to update our webpage very soon, Sean. So.
Yeah, I think we're going to do some spring cleaning. Anyway, Nathan, Shadow Nation, you know what time it is?
What time is it, Sean?
You don't know what time. In the news!
Da-da-da!
It's always fresh. It's always exciting. It's strange and weird and kooky. And it starts right now. Oh, I messed it up. See, I'm off tonight, man.
That's okay.
I
That's
had
okay.
head trauma
You're
today.
trying. You're trying.
I am
that's
trying.
That's what counts.
Usually I
you're
say
giving it your all.
Hold on, let's do it again. I want to start over again. Can I start over? Ready? Hold on. Hold on. Let's start over again. Give me a second. Let me start this over again.
You're gonna do it all over? Okay.
In the news!
In the news!
Okay, guys, today's strange news. It's always fresh. It's always exciting. It's strange, weird, and kooky. It's straight off the G&D show vaults, and it starts right
now.
If we don't get it right the first time, try again. We did it.
We got there.
We
took
did
many
it.
roads.
We did it.
We took the road
The
less traveled by. And speaking of that mistake, folks, remember, this is the Ghostman and Demon Hunter in the news. That's when Sean and I pick the news right out of the paper according to the titles we like. Of course, we don't get to read the stories beforehand, so we make a lot of mistakes. And every time we make a mistake, you take a drink. That's the G&D drinking game. Of course, if you're listening to us while driving in your car or doing anything important, we recommend that you don't play the G&D drinking game because we're not going to come and bail you out. If you're planning on doing anything special with a loved one this evening, or say anything special by yourself, which is sad and
Light a
we
scented
feel
candle
sorry for you.
Like one of those White Castle scented candles, you know?
Please listen responsibly.
Do it, guys. I'm first up to bat because Nathan does the intro. I start us off. That's the drink bell. When you hear that, that means you got to drink. So every time we make
get a bell.
Yeah, I know. Every time we make a mistake, we get a ding. You got to drink. Okay, here we go. First up the bat, guys. Unexplained calls for help lead police to toddler in overturned car. This is a heartwarming story. I heard that earlier.
It really is. You beat me to it.
You want to read that one? You got it queued up?
No. It's okay. You can have it.
See, I start off, and I don't know what you want to start off with.
Well, we just have all these news stories in front of us.
I know. Well, here comes out this is our friends from Fox News sends us this great story. Very heartwarming. Here we go. Incredible new details are emerging about what brought rescuers to a toddler trapped in a car in a frigid river. The update. Miracle toddler goes home after surviving car crash into river. How did toddler survive hanging upside down after crash into river? 18-month-old Lily Grossbeck was found alive in an overturned car after a crash in which the vehicle plunged into a frigid river in Spanish Fork, Utah. That was sad, man. It was sad. I seen it live. It was not until 14 hours after the crash, Demon Hunter,
Yes.
that a fisherman stumbled upon the car and alerted emergency personnel. Ansley Earnhardt reported on Fox and Friends that as rescuers rushed down to the car, 4 police officers all say they heard the same thing. You might be asking yourself, what did they hear, Nathan?
What did they hear?
Well, funny you should ask. A woman calling out, begging for help. That's what they heard.
That's insane.
That was kind of weird, man. But they can't explain who that voice was because the baby's mother, 25-year-old Lynn Grossbeck, was killed in the crash hours before. And the voice they heard was too mature to be the toddler. When we all when we all talked.
Have a drink, folks. Where's
Yeah.
the bell, Sean?
Oh, hold on. I didn't get it here. There we go, guys. Drink up. I lost my place. When we all talked together, I said, was I the only one that was hearing this? Thinking that I was hearing things, Tyler Beddoes, drink, guys, one of the officers who rescued the toddler, explained, and when I talked to the other officers, we all heard the same thing, a voice saying, help us, help me. Another officer described the same thing to the Deseret News, drink up, guys. We've gotten together and just talk about it, and all four of us can swear that we heard somebody inside the car saying, help, said Officer Jarrett Warner. The officers say that the calls for help pushed them to work even harder to flip the car over. When they righted the partially submerged vehicle, they were shocked to find the mother dead and the toddler alive.
Amazing.
It was. That's it, man. They were just able to push the car onto its side. How, I don't know. Whether it's adrenaline or what, but it was incredible, Officer Brian Dewitt said. As I grabbed the little baby out of the car seat, as I pulled her head up, I could tell that there was some life in her. I could see her eyes open. Lily is in the hospital recovering, thank God, Shadow Nation, and her family says she's going to be okay. There you go. Baby Lily, we love you here at the G&D show. And to
There
your
you go,
mother.
Sean.
And to your
what
mother,
do you think
thank
was?
God. I think she was, I seriously think it was an angel. I mean, the coroner said that her mother had been dead for quite some time. And, what would explain that? Some people said after the wreck that they think the mother had, held on and with her last dying breath said, help us, help me. But the coroner confirmed that she had been deceased for quite some time.
Well, Sean, you've heard my story of the unexplained voice in my life, correct?
Refresh my memory.
That would be when I was struck by an oncoming car that ran a stop sign, and my entire truck got flipped over, and I got crushed into the vehicle.
Oh, no, I don't think I heard this.
Yes, I was driving with my mother in a car.
Okay.
Or in my pickup truck that I had in the time. My father had passed away, and before he passed away, he bought me a pickup truck. And my mother did not pay people to come to her house and pick up garbage. Not
Right.
when she had a son with a pickup truck. She
Right.
could just throw everything in the back of the pickup truck, and I could take it to the dump for her.
Right.
Well, that particular day, she decided to go with me on the drive. So we threw everything in the back of the truck, drove to the dump. On the way back, the tops fell off the garbage cans. So I got out of the car, put the tops back into the back of the truck, got back in the vehicle, and my mother said she would really like me to wear my seatbelt, because at the time I never wore a seatbelt. And I said, okay, I'll put on my seatbelt. So I put on my seatbelt, strapped myself in, and started going. And we came to a two-way stop sign at the time, and a car was coming towards us. And both my mother and I say, we both heard someone else say, that car's not going to stop.
Really?
And it didn't. It plowed into us, flipping us over, knocking us off the road, and crushing us into the vehicle. But I had moved my truck out of the way just enough that rather than hitting the part of the car that my mother and I would have been in, it hit the back of the truck, spinning us around and knocking us over, keeping us from getting the section we were in getting crushed.
Oh, wow.
So to this day, we tell the story about how a unknown voice warned us that a car was coming that wasn't going to stop.
That is amazing. And a lot of people, I wish we had the phone lines back open for the Shadow Nation could call in on this, because we could go all night on these type of situations that happen. I remember when I was younger, there was a small fire in one of my cousin's homes. We were down there, and it started in the basement. And none of us would have known, but my aunt said she heard a voice in her head while she was at work that said there was an emergency at home. She just had this overbearing sense of, dread. And she called home and she said, check downstairs. And sure enough, my older cousin checked and we cleared the house. It was a small fire, but there was a fire starting downstairs and we put it out. And yeah. So there's all kinds of stories like that. Weird, man. Weird.
Very, very weird. Hey, Sean, you know what's weird?
What is weird? This show?
Thousands of people signing a petition asking death to bring back the author, Terry Pratchett.
Oh!
Terry Pratchett died this last week, and the webpage holding the story just closed on me.
Where did they send? Where did they send?
That's what where do you click send on that one? That's a good question.
I'd like to have the email. You know, I guess you can send Santa Claus emails. You might as well be able to send death.
Can you email Santa Claus now?
Yeah, you can send the guy emails and everything. I guarantee if we Googled right now, death, how to send death an email, there'd be something. I think you can send the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy. They all have emails, man. Twitter accounts, everything.
Well, hours after the news of Terry Pratchett's death broke on Thursday, a fan of the best-selling fantasy author launched a petition on change.org beseeching the Grim Reaper to
bring him back,
to please reinstate the writer on Earth.
Oh man!
Death, bring back Terry Pratchett. The petition reads.
Okay.
Pratchett, who penned the beloved Discworld series of books, died on Thursday at the age of 66 after a long battle with Alzheimer's disease.
Rest in peace, sir.
Thus far, more than 2,500 people have signed the petition asking Pratchett...
Petition.
Petition asking for Pratchett's return.
Okay.
Death was not available for a comment.
Well...
To the Batmobile.
They will be. Death's there. We know it's there. We just gotta wait to see. Like, again, we need to Google that and see if, you know...
If you could...
Email Death.
You can email Death?
Because we might be able to email him, get him on the show.
That would be interesting.
That would be a good show.
I think people would listen in for that show.
I am. You know, we have Ross Marquand, who plays Aaron on The Walking Dead. We have him booked on, guys, in a week or so. Next Sunday, I believe, is wide open right now. Maybe I should try to get Death on for next Sunday. You think I could book him that fast?
I don't know, but hey, Sean, here's one you'll like.
Yeah.
Mom says bananas were infested by spiders that can cause hour-long erections.
Oh, where's those spiders at? Where are they at?
Is that a banana in your pocket, or you just been bitten by a Brazilian wandering spider?
Bad joke, Bell. Drink twice.
Ooh, have a drink.
Drink.
A British couple was horrified on Tuesday after they found a bunch of bananas they purchased at the Tesco store was infested with spiders they believed to be Brazilian wandering spiders. The Bristol Post reports the bite of the spider can cause the host to have unpleasant symptoms, including hours-long painful erections and death. Hey, there you go.
Always with the Brits, man.
What horrible symptoms that include hours-long painful erections and death.
Yeah.
I recognized the spiders because I remember seeing them in a news story. So when I saw the cocoon, I rang a bell, and I thought, have a drink, folks. It rang a bell, and I thought I should check it. Yeah, I'd check it. I Googled it, says Maria Layton of Bristol.
Yeah.
According to the Telegraph, the Telegraph must be the paper that posted this originally, there isn't any indication her identification was confirmed by any experts.
Say, is that a spider?
Or are you just happy to see me?
Yeah.
She told the Telegraph she became even more concerned after the cocoon began to unfurl.
Oh.
And she shoved the banana into a sealed box.
Where'd she shove the banana?
Into a sealed box.
Oh.
It's a good thing this guy didn't get bitten by those spiders. What would he have
Sealed
done?
Box, yeah. Oh my God.
Which she put in the freezer to kill any spiders that might emerge.
Yeah.
In response to her Facebook message, the Tesco representatives instructed Layton to provide the company with more information about the product, including the barcode and the date and the location where she purchased the fruit.
Yeah.
But Layton appeared to want someone from the company to come to her house to deal with the spider
I bet she did. And when the Action News team showed up at her door, they weren't allowed access to the home. All they heard was,
Oh.
she wasn't available for comment.
So spiders got loose.
Spiders!
Just so you know, this story did come to us from the Huffington Post people, and when the Huffington Post requested a comment, it was not immediately returned by Maria Layton.
She was busy.
She must have been busy a little bit there.
Yeah, well. Good girl.
I stole your story. You stole my story. I stole your story.
Oh, I got another one. Last one
Go
for
ahead.
me. South African doctors successfully transplant penis onto a 21-year-old male.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it says man. I said male. Drink, guys. Misread them. Oh, here we go. Stellenbosch, South Africa. 2 drinks.
Woo-hoo.
The South African University said Friday that it had performed a successful penis transplant. There's hope, Demon Hunter. There's hope.
Well, you've been looking for years, Sean, so it's all good news for you.
Oh, there goes our syndication. The transplant was done in a 9-hour operation last December by specialists from the Faculty of Medicine and Health Services at the University of Stellenbosch. 2 drinks, guys. The patient had his penis amputated 3 years ago following complications from a circumcision. Oh, circumcisions.
It sounds like that Moyle was trying to get too big of a tip there.
Oh!
Oh!
Oh! Anyway, the 21-year-old patient, whose name was not released, had made a full recovery and has regained all functions in the newly transplanted organ. The university near Cape Town in southwestern South Africa said, say that real fast, southwestern South Africa. That wasn't that hard, actually. It was
Rubber baby bubby bunkers.
booger bumpers. Drink up for
Booger
Nathan's-
bunkers.
Yeah, it was at least the second time the procedure had been attempted. The university did not give any details of the organ donor, but said finding a donor was one of the major challenges. I bet it was. A man in China received a penis transplant. No, China.
Don't go there with the joke.
Yeah, we can't do it. We're big in China. A man in China received... Get it? We're big in China. Never mind. A man in China...
I took the drink right when you said that, man. What were you doing?
Man, we're golden tonight, people. We're feeding you gold. A man in China received a penis transplant in 2005. The operation also appeared to be successful, but doctors said the man asked them to remove his new penis 2 weeks later because of psychological problems experienced by him and his wife. Huh?
Oddly enough, that penis had come from Africa.
And it talked. Its name was Charlie. I don't know, guys. That's it.
I don't know. The story ends there. Hey, Sean,
That's it for
get the bell
story.
ready.
Okay, let's do that.
I have a very scientific story to read.
Okay, I'm ready for this.
And you know when you read a scientific story, there'll be scientific words.
Yes.
And when there are scientific words, there are going to be drinks to be had.
Just drink 3 right off the bat, guys. 3 shots.
So here we go from the Huffington Post. 250-year-old pretzel found by archaeologists.
I thought you were going to mess up archaeologist. Dang it.
We hope it has 250-year-old salt on it.
Yeah.
Archaeologists uncovered a 250-year-old pretzel in Germany's have a drink. That was an easy word. Southern state of Bavaria last summer.
It's not bad.
It was put on display this week in the here we go.
Bavaria.
The Roxkenberg Historical Museum.
Okay.
The Independent reports.
Right.
Archaeologists believe the pretzel was made between 1700 and 1800.
All right.
Ooh, it's kind of ugly looking.
Ooh, I bet it is. It's a pretzel.
It is an archaeological.
Third time's a charm.
Got me. You got me on that word. It is an archaeological sensation.
Danielson.
Sensation.
Right.
Sylvia Kennard Widrun.
Okay.
From Bavaria State Department of Mount. Oh gosh! Have a drink. Of Monument
Okay.
States told NBC News. In my 30 years in this business, I have never found an organic object.
Okay.
The pretzel was probably preserved because it was burned. Oh, I'm sorry.
Ah!
There you go. Because it was burnt in a baking process, the professor said.
Pause.
Pause. Have a drink. Pause for the cause. Take a drink.
Pause for the cause. Is that it?
That's it.
Oh, boy.
Where can we go after penis transplant and mummified pretzel?
Oh, I got an idea. It's going to be tough to beat. But, guys, it's time for a G&D show original series. If you don't know what an original series is, that means Nathan and I have created this series where we comb the world for the latest and greatest in all the mysteries, from monsters to aliens to ghosts of the haunted back roads. And each week we bring you a new legend. Try to find out if there's truth or just facts. Wait, no, I messed that up, didn't I? We try to find out if it's true or false.
Have a drink.
This week's Legend X is
Tahoe Tessie.
You forgot what it was, didn't you?
I did. I had to check it.
Do you like my slow, sexy voice with the music?
I like your slow, sexy voice there.
Ah!
Work on that a little bit longer. It's one day you might sound like a grown-up.
This is true.
Hey, Sean.
What?
You ever been to Tahoe?
I never have. I flew over.
There you go. Well, stories of an ancient creature in Lake Tahoe can be traced back to members of the Washaw and We're not doing news anymore. They don't get the bell. I worked on this word all day.
Potawatomi?
Wrong.
Potawatomi?
The Patui.
Patui.
Pauti.
Nice.
Tribes.
Nice.
In the mid-19th century.
You've insulted an ancient people.
Yes.
In 2 seconds.
They're all gonna now all be cursed.
Yes.
Forever. Who said the cryptid lived under the water in tunnels beneath in caves, stating that Tessie, who got her nickname from the famous Nessie, Loch Ness fame, the stories continue today, with witnesses describing the creature as being between 10 and 80 feet long, and having a serpentine body, and coloration ranging from black to turquoise.
Okay.
So it's between 10 and 80 feet long, and it's somewhere between dark black goo and bright shiny turquoise, Sean.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah, that sounds perfectly feasible to me. There are several theories surrounding Tessie.
Yeah.
Most popular of them is that it is an animal like a plesiosaur, an ichthyosaur, or a mosasaur.
Yeah, I got a feeling you messed that up, but okay.
Mosasaur? Mosasaur?
I don't know, I'm not reading along.
Mosasaur? Mosasaur. Okay. There you go.
You got it.
Because fossils of these creatures have been found in the surrounding Sierra Nevada mountains. However, scientists say that it is unlikely because the lake was formed by the last ice age, long after these animals went extinct. Other Tessie's theories say that it could be simply a large sturgeon.
Really?
Yes, or an unidentified species of freshwater eel. But believers point to a quotation from the undersea explorer Jacques Cousteau, who alleged to have emerged from a submarine.
You know what I was trying to
knew where you were going with that.
There we go.
Who is alleged to have emerged from a submarine.
Right.
Expedition in Lake Tahoe and said the world is not ready for what's down there.
What's down there?
That's Tahoe Tessie, Sean. In Lake Tahoe. So when you're done, you can shoot over, do a little gambling in Reno. Hey, if you go and gamble first, have a few drinks, then headed over to Lake Tahoe, you're sure to see Tahoe Tessie.
Right.
No, it's true.
It's what happened. You're bound to see her. So do
Tahoe
they have
Tessie,
any?
Sean.
They have any amazing pictures that? Because I was looking online, it looks a lot like Nessie. Nessie.
Tessie, Nessie. Well, obviously that's where the name comes from.
So.
You know what, Sean? I'm a firm kind of believer that Nessie, Tessie, what was it up in Lake Champlain?
Champ.
All these stories really lead me to believe in sturgeon reports.
Yeah, sturgeon get pretty big, but not 80 feet long.
No, but if you say get 12 sturgeon in a row swimming behind each other in a school or something like that.
Was this a joke? A priest, a sturgeon, and a school marm walk into a bar? 80
Hey, a
sturgeon?
priest, a rabbi, and a minister walk into a bar where the devil is bartending. The devil looks up and says, "Is this a joke?"
That's funny.
And to go there.
That was funny. Can I give the bad joke bell?
Yes, you can.
Drink up, guys, for the bad joke. We got to do a whole bad joke segment there, because you can feel
Our lives, Sean.
Our bad
We've been
joke.
doing this for 9 years. Just listen, folks. You will have alcohol poisoning by morning if you try to get through our shows.
Anyway, guys, that was G&D original series, Legend X. Yeah, that was a good one, though. Tessie, Nessie.
There you go.
But you can't, like each week when we cover these monsters, myths, or legends, we always talk about how we would catch these things.
Well, we had a great idea to go out for Champ, and that was when we were working with Jason Gowan, and he refused to work along with us on it.
What was that? Drop him in?
We wanted to put him in the diver's cage,
All right.
strap pork chops, lamb chops, and beef tip to the cage,
Yeah.
dump him in the water
Yeah.
with him on a tank, and drag him under with the camera to see if Champ came and tried to eat the cage.
So we drag his lifeless body around the...
Well, no, he'd have a tank to breathe and
But we're
going to
drag him.
water in the cage,
Okay.
and we just strap all the bait to the cage to see if Champ came up and wanted it.
I don't know why he wouldn't do it.
And we even said, hey, maybe Champ's a vegetarian, we'll strap on a head of lettuce.
Right?
So, and he wouldn't do it.
I don't know.
I thought it was a great plan.
Well, I would definitely do it. What do you think we would do for this thing? Do you think we'd do the same thing? These are kind of lame because the lake's too big. There's no way unless you have a supersonic X-ray, jet.
Well, they say he lives in tunnels underneath the lake, so how would you look underneath there?
Are you saying there's no way to positively identify if this creature or confirm?
I do believe that it is impossible to prove or disprove the existence of Tessie.
I don't know. I think, one day...
I think you're scuba certified, Sean. Let's dump you in the cage. We'll take you through the lake.
I am scuba certified. I got to tell you, when we had the TV show, though, and I went out there in that lake, you want to talk about spooky. At night, in the mountains of, God, where were we? New Mexico somewhere. Ruidoso,
New Mexico.
Yeah, and we were out there, guys, in pitch black water. A storm rolled up on us, and I was underwater looking for the ghost of Martin Nelson. That was
You have to admit, though, we freaked our own producers out because we performed that ceremony. The storm rolled in while we were performing the ceremony, and as soon as we ended, the storm went away.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can believe in aliens, but you can't believe in magic. You disappoint me, Sean.
I do believe in magic. I just don't believe in...
We've been cursed too many times not to believe in magic.
I just don't believe in a lot of, monsters of the lake. And maybe they are in there. I don't know. Who am I to say? Anyway, Demon Hunter, it's time for another G&D original series. Absolutely. People love this one. That's right, guys. You hear the music. Each week on the GhostMan&Demon Hunter show, we have original series Rot Talk.
Rot talk.
Yes, where we talk everything that's happened past, present, and future on The Walking Dead. Demon Hunter,
Ghostman.
Rot Talk, original series on that show we all know and love. This season, Hunter be Hunted, The Walking Dead. We're following the crew around. Things are getting, they've been kind of real mellow the the last
You
3
should
episodes.
warn people, Sean, that we are going to hit spoiler alerts here.
Oh.
We are going to talk about stuff that may or may not have been seen by folks who haven't caught up on the series.
This is true.
So if you haven't caught up and you don't want to know what's going to happen, this is the time to stick your fingers in your ears and go la 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 la, because Sean and I are going to talk about things that we have seen that are going to happen tonight and that we predict could happen in the future. So
That's
stick
true.
your fingers in your ears or listen live or on podcast and let us know what you think later, because this is Rot Talk.
Rot Talk. What a catchy name we got. I wonder if anybody out there does another Walking Dead exclusive named Rot Talk. I doubt it.
I don't think anybody does one called Rot Talk. I heard there's one called Talking Dead.
Yeah, there is a little show, I think, that, what's it come on, PBS
Comes
or something?
on like I think it's on like Fox News or something like that.
I don't know. Hey, they did come out last week. I noticed we were asking how many episodes left, because every time The Walking Dead starts, we never want it to end, but it said last week 3 episodes left.
3 episodes. So we're on the 3rd to last episode of the season this evening, Sean.
Yes, we are. It's very sad, because it'll be until October until we see the gang again. But I did want to bring this up, kind of put the buggy in front of the horse. Season 5 finale extended to 90 minutes. It's confirmed.
90 minutes, not 2 hours, 90 minutes.
90 minutes. Just
Hour and a half. The same length of time it takes to listen to a GhostMan&Demon Hunter show.
Or with commercials, 45 minutes. Without
Yes.
commercials. Or without commercials, 45 minutes. The Walking Dead Season 5 finale episode is going to pack even more Walker punches, because it will have a runtime of 90 minutes. The news comes from the EW writer Dalton Rose, who tweeted the information. That's exactly what he tweeted, so I wasn't going to... It says The Walking Dead season finale on March 29th, now supersized to 90 minutes. Thanks, Dalton. While the full details about the episode have not been released, we do know the season 5 finale will be directed by executive producer Greg Nicotero.
Okay.
What are your predictions, Demon Hunter, for the finale? Well, maybe not the finale. What's going to happen tonight?
Let's look at what's happening tonight. We already know from the trailer.
I was reading it off of here.
We already know from the trailer that we get to see the beginning of the confrontation between Pete and our fearless leader.
Okay.
So, if that's already started, you know we've been too long without a villain, Sean. Everybody's wondering who the villain is.
Yeah.
So personally, I really thought we knew it wasn't gonna be Diana.
Yeah.
Because, well, let's face it, she's a politician. She's already dead inside, so practically she's pretty much Walking Dead already.
Because we never knew a politician that's slimy and underhanded.
Never.
No.
That doesn't happen.
It doesn't. Doesn't happen.
But Rick and Pete obviously face off for the first time during this episode. And I think Rick is doing a good job of keeping his calm because, let's face it, Rick could bite his throat out. He's done it before.
Yes, absolutely. Did you notice, though, when he kind of weirded out at the end of last week's episode and he put his hand up against the fence and he heard the walkers?
Yeah, he's starting to get a bit of a animalistic air about him.
He is. He can't stand being domesticated when you've been that long in the wild. But think about it. If we, or the Shadow Nation, any of our members, well, they already are undomesticated. You folks aren't domesticated at all listening to our show. No.
You listen to our show? Not at all.
Our show. I would say if there was a zombie apocalypse tonight, the Shadow Nation, members of the Shadow Nation, people who listen to our show, would be the survivors.
Well, sure. We give them all the tips they need to survive.
Right. They just
like
wouldn't
the fact that I tell them all the time not to listen to Sean and move to the attic. The basement's where you want to be.
Yes, the basement, where enough walkers can pile against the door and crush it in, and then there's nowhere to run. They can kill you underground, which is the good part if you follow Nathan's plan, because you'll already be underground, so you don't have to be buried.
Well, or you could follow Sean's plan and get up into the attic where there's no heat, no nothing, and no food, and you starve to death.
Yeah, well, my friend, that'll be an argument to the day we die. Hey, what did Matt Moak say from the Zombie Research Society?
He said that we needed to put a tunnel up the wall between the attic and the basement.
Oh, man, what a political answer. You know,
where we could travel between the two.
Well, I'm with you fellas. What do you think, Matt? I'm with you fellas. Yeah, whatever, Matt. Matt was a cool cat. I love Matt. We got to get him back on.
We should have Matt back on.
We should. Matt was a cool cat, a zombie survivalist. Anyway, Demon Hunter, what were you going to say? Go ahead.
I'm thinking, you asked me what's going to happen towards the end of the episode. I think all I can see at this point is we're definitely focused on a earlier than expected introduction of characters. I don't think the character that you and I have been talking about, codenamed Negan, will appear anytime this season, nor even in the last episode. But I think things will happen that open the door for Negan to appear.
Okay. Well, Mr. Walking Dead professional, let's see what the 39 thoughts on Season 5 finale tweets had to say about it, okay?
Okay.
This comes from Sunspear. Thank you, Sunspear. He or she said, I predict Negan will finally make his long-awaited entry into the TV show. Maybe not a full appearance, but in a cliffhanger sequence. Maybe in a prelude to the infamous death scene of issue 100, whatever that is. I don't follow the comic book. I'm going to have to start. I don't know.
I guess so, because you need some tips to be able to talk on this episode.
ABC Putt says, what if in the end credits of Season 5 finale, we get a 5-second look at a hand holding a bloody baseball bat with barbed wire around it? Would that be a good idea, hinting at Negan next season? Question mark. Well, I think it would, ABC Putt. I think it would. But if you notice, guys, in this season so far, we've already seen the bloody baseball bats. Huh?
Yeah, we have. The bloody baseball bats have been making their appearance quite a lot lately.
Yes, lots of bloody baseball bats. Anyway, guys, that was a G&D original series, Rot Talk, because we love the Walking Dead.
I think, Sean, we
so
should
much.
add to Rot Talk.
You think we should add to it?
I think we should. I think each week we should have a competition where our listeners can email us and tell us who they think's going to die next on the show. Now, it's not fair if they're on our show, because everybody knows once they come on our show, they're going to die.
Yeah. If you guys don't believe it, look it up in our archives. Everybody that's been on is died.
That died the next week or within the next few episodes.
Yes.
But we also have to look, Sean, there is the whole thing about the W carved into the forehead of the Walker.
Yes. W for Walker. Who knows?
Well, well, so far the group that the survivors that we deal with are the only ones who call them Walkers.
Yeah, I don't know. That's true.
But
then we got that new series this spring, I think, or late summer. That's going to come out. I would think they would. They're going to have to get it right in the middle of this one ending and the new season starting in October, because they're not going to want to overkill this. They're going to have to be real careful with this new series. And I think somebody said they're going to call it Cobalt. I have no idea why they would do that, but that's the name of my car. So I don't know why they would call it. Maybe it's the name of a town or something. But it's going to be based in Los Angeles, California. We do know that. And it's going to be another group of survivors trying to make their way to safety. There'll be a lot of Hollywood stars. Bill Murray might make another appearance, like he did in that one. Anyway, Demon Hunter.
And remember too that that W could be somebody sitting at the top of the head carving it in, say for a name like Morgan.
I guess that could be. Or
like Morgan Jones.
It could be the crazy doctor doing experiments and marking his prey, kind of like they do great white sharks when they put them back into population.
That's always possible too.
See, he could be marking the. Oh, come on! Don't give me that. Well, that's always possible too. You think, oh man, shit, he trumped me on that one. That was a.
No. I'm.
Oh, I trumped you.
You trumped nothing.
Tonight's guest, Demon Hunter. Before we go to break, my little brother, ladies and gentlemen of the Shadow Nation. Tonight's guest, he's got his bachelor's degree in psychology, film, and literature. He has researched and investigated historical and contemporary reports of UFO sightings. He's also an author of Portraits of Alien Encounters, Supernatural Spielberg, the UFO Investigations Manual, and his brand new book, UFOs of the First World War. Nigel Watson is going to be in studio tonight. This cat is off the hook, guys, so get ready for amazing stories from as far back as World War I with the Red Baron and all that good stuff. Very interesting, Demon Hunter.
Very interesting. You're ugly and your mother dresses you funny, Sean.
Oh, where'd you get that from? Did you steal that off somebody?
I don't know. I stole that from a third grader.
Anyway, guys, tonight's band, the Bomb Busters. Name of the song, Good to Be Alone. Demon Hunter.
GhostMan.
Shadow Nation. We'll be right back.
The Silver Surfer from Fantastic Four, Abe Sapien from the Hellboy movies, Billy Butcherson from Hocus Pocus, the Faun from Pan's Labyrinth, and more that I don't want to talk about. But right now, you are listening to the Ghostman and Demon Hunter Show.
Hey, welcome back, Shadow Nation, to the one, the only mystifying oracle of radio, your Ghostman and Demon Hunter show. Tonight's guest, he has his bachelor's degree in psychology, film, and literature. He has researched and investigated historical and contemporary reports of UFO sightings. He's written several articles about phantom airships seen over Britain from 1909 to 1913. He's the author of Portraits of Alien Encounters, Supernatural Spielberg, the UFO Investigations Manual, and his brand new book that we're going to talk about tonight, UFOs of the First World War. Shadow Nation, help us welcome Mr. Nigel Watson to studio. Nigel, what are you doing, buddy?
All right, hi.
Doing
Glad to
great.
be on your show. Yeah.
Well, thank you, sir. It's so good to have you on. We played back and forth ping pong there trying to get you for a while, but
Yes.
you got a lot of big things happening here.
Yeah, being quite busy.
Yeah, I bet. You know, for the people that don't know, the First World War, of course, known as the Great War, was a global war centered in Europe. It began the 28th July 1914, lasted until the 11th November 1918. More than 9 million combatants and 7 million civilians lost their life during that war. But you say, Nigel, that there was a lot of weirdness going on outside of the war. What do you mean?
Yeah, from the very start, the sightings of phantom aircraft of all different types, lights in the sky, which obviously people thought were enemy airships or enemy aircraft. This was particularly true of Britain, which was for the first time being threatened by an aerial military threat. Previously, Britain had been protected from invasion by the Royal Navy, and that's, you know, the only way anyone could invade Britain or attack Britain was through the sea. But obviously, with the development of aircraft and airships,
Right.
Britain was no longer isolated. It was very vulnerable to the new technology. So obviously, people were looking out for anything in the sky. And from the very beginning of the war, people began reporting seeing searchlights or moving lights about in the sky. And often they were reported to the local police forces, who then passed the information on to the War Office, and their military intelligence looked at all these reports, would often send people out to check them out. And just like UFO cases today, you know, obviously a lot of these were misidentifications of, you know, Venus or just odd lights, really.
Yeah.
But there was a core of sightings that were genuinely quite puzzling. So, you know, you put it into the bracket of the type of UFO events we know today.
Now, obviously, Nigel, a lot of these things that we're seeing that were reported, they could have been aircraft, correct? Because they were constantly working on their aircrafts, and it's easy to make something that somebody might not have recognized.
Yeah, that's right. I think at the very beginning of the war, people expected Germany to launch an immediate Zeppelin attack, but actually they held off attacking Britain with real airships until about January 1915. So anything prior to that wasn't there. A lot of people did say they saw sightings of, saw lights in the sky or different things moving about. And these sightings were so frequent in the north of England and Scotland that we actually sent troops out into the remote parts of Britain looking for any bases that the Germans might be operating aircraft from. And in Scotland, there was even a £100 reward for anyone who could lead to the discovery of an airship base of any kind. They were particularly looking for any remote places where people had been buying supplies or petrol and that sort of thing that might be helping to sustain such a base.
Right.
And the reward was like £100, which was a lot of money then, when people were lucky to earn, you know, £2 or £3 a week. So it was, you know, a lot of money, and it was obvious that the government forces were obviously quite keen on tracking anything like this down. But all the searches proved quite fruitless, really. But often lights in the sky were associated with signalling activities nearer the ground, and some people believe that motor cars were driving around at night to guide the airships to their targets.
Oh.
So there was also these sort of mystery cars driving around the country lanes, as well as, you know, strange objects in the sky. So
Wow.
quite a lot of weird things were going on, really, you know.
Yeah, they were guiding the Zeppelins, right? Those were bomb-filled
Yeah.
Zeppelins.
That's what people thought. Or people thought people were using lights on the ground to signal to Germans. German sympathizers might be doing that. So where again the military authorities had to sort of check up on a lot of these cases and visit people. Often they had quite innocent explanations, but obviously it's quite interesting that even today we get stories of men in black in phantom cars and that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
So we can see, you know, a lot of the elements that we know of today within the literature of that period, really.
You know,
And yeah.
go ahead, Nigel. I'm sorry.
Well, a lot of this material is actually from the public record offices or the archives and files, but sometimes the odd story did get into the newspapers as well. But obviously they were subject to censorship. And my book also looks at the different airship scares that led up to the war, because often they were due to people being worried about, the German threat. But interestingly enough, a lot of these scares were not only in Britain, where you would expect, but also in Australia, New Zealand, and the United States even had an airship scare in late 1909. But that was more due to people thinking they'd seen some marvelous new invention by a local inventor.
Right.
So in a way, people interpreted, lights in the sky in different ways, either as a military threat or perhaps a new invention being created in somebody's backyard.
Yeah, I think that's the same here too, Nigel. But at the same time, don't you think that's just a perfect example of the government saying, "Oh no, that's not Little Green Man. That's something we just didn't tell you about," huh? You know what I mean? And confuse the people, like Stephen Greer, not Stephen Greer, but Stephen Bassett came on, and the misdirection there, the old sleight of hand, trying to confuse the masses.
Yeah, that's true. I think, often the masses can confuse themselves as well, so that adds to the mix. But I think at that time, the media, newspapers and magazines, or even the silent movies of a period, were all really keen on anything to do with aircraft, and aviators were here. So people didn't really know the difference between an airship or a balloon or an aeroplane. So some of the sightings that people reported could be quite exotic, things with flapping wings and rudders,
right,
and rotating propellers, which, were just something, out of the imagination, really.
And especially with everybody looking up at that time,
So
Now, Nigel,
exactly.
I'm a New Jersey boy, and of course, being a New Jersey boy, I grew up with stories of the Hindenburg. Considering how flammable Zeppelins weren't they really a poor idea to use for attacks?
Yeah, they were really bad, actually. They were impressive as a propaganda weapon. They were brilliant because they were huge craft. Compared to Britain, hardly built any airships, and our airships were quite puny in comparison, and a lot of military aircraft we had were quite small and puny, whereas in comparison the Zeppelins were huge. We could travel huge distances, but the basic problems with the Zeppelins were, if we were near the ground, we were easily blown about and could easily damage themselves. They presented a huge target which could easily be shot down by aircraft or by anti-aircraft guns on the ground. And also, another tactic the British used was you could simply bomb the airship sheds and bases, so you could bomb them before they could even take off. So basically, they weren't a very good weapon in terms of attacking and killing people. In the end, they did actually kill a few hundred people in Britain, but it's more in terms of propaganda and intimidation, really.
Right.
But it also means that anything seen in the sky represented something quite, deadly and frightening. And, you can imagine people, even if they saw a glimpse of a kite or a balloon with a light attached, would be very frightened about it and imagine it was a German probing the landscape looking for targets. And this was something, the British government intelligence services had to deal with, because some of the police commanders were actually passing them on, like literally hundreds of reports, and they were tearing their hair out because it was really fouling up their time to deal with all these things, Well,
that's, I
was a factor again in the 1950s. I think the United States Air Force really wanted to do that, suppress reports because it's fouling up their intelligence systems.
Yeah, and that's what I was reading when I was doing my research, Nigel. Britain's first military UFO encounter was an article Dr. David Clark did.
Oh, yeah.
And, I know we're putting the buggy in front of the horse here because we got a lot to talk about, but I wanted to familiarize people with the British government and how things work over there and let a lot of our United States listener base know that you guys also have a Men in Black type thing. Like we had the, majestic, was it MJ-11 or MJ-12?
So, yeah, MJ-12,
yes. We had the Majestic 12, and you guys had... Of course, the what was that? The it's right in front of me here, and I can't see it in my notes.
Well, we've had we had a flying saucer working party which put together a report that Winston Churchill wanted to get us to have a look at the UFO phenomenon, and also there was much later on, perhaps about 1990, I think it was, or late 90s, I can't remember now. There's a Project Condign, which is a sort of overview of all the UFO material that the MOD had, really.
I think it's the M15.
And basically, that report kind of decided there wasn't much.
Yeah, I think it was the M15. It was created first in 1916, the Bureau.
Oh, yeah.
Secret Service.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was...
And that was an obvious place where a lot of... Yeah. Yeah.
I just thought that was so interesting because a lot of people, they credit
so it's
Kenneth...
interesting that...
Yeah, they credit Kenneth Arnold with the first UFO sighting in June 24th, 1947, of course, over Mount Rainier. But the British government has been reporting Foo Fighters for quite some time. And like you said, they were getting calls left and right, and they kind of put out a message saying, hey, we're going to start disciplining folks that are putting in these false reports. And then what happens a couple months later? Their own pilots call in and say, hey, we're chasing these things all around. What happened?
Yeah, exactly. Kenneth Arnold was a real latecomer to the UFO situation, really. Throughout Europe during the war, there had been Foo Fighters following bombers and aircraft, and often,
But, getting back to your book, the First World War, UFOs had a big influence on it, and nobody knows about this. When I put it out and I started supporting your book and putting out there that this was coming out, people are just floored. And, the only thing a lot of us in the United States think of is when you say Red Baron is Snoopy from the from the comic strip, Snoopy riding around the doghouse with the scarf on. Of course, the Red Baron was, credited with doing amazing things during the war. You say he shot down a UFO, maybe, huh?
Well, actually, I repeat the story, but it was quite a flimsy story, which was created by the Weekly World News, and it allegedly said that an ancient veteran pilot of that period claimed that he used to fly with a Red Baron during the First World War, and that the Red Baron had shot down a UFO. But I think, there's quite a lot of holes in that story, but it's a story that's kind of got repeated quite a lot on the internet, and I think it's something, I had to repeat really to make my book complete, because obviously that was such an interesting story.
Right.
But in actuality, there were one or two kind of aircraft encounters with UFOs. There was one in particular over London where 3 separate Royal Flying Corps pilots were sent up to look for Zeppelins and saw a mystery light in the sky, which they couldn't explain, and it wasn't really pinned down to any German airship, because at that time any German airship activity was carefully plotted and then written down and produced as a report for the cabinet and to review for defence in future. So there were a few cases of people who said had been in an aircraft and seen UFOs, and in fact in that particular instance, one of the pilots did use his revolver to shoot at this object, so he obviously thought it was close enough, within range of his pistol to shoot at it.
Oh my gosh.
It wasn't as spectacular as a Red Baron shooting down something. Also, it would be quite a challenge for a triplane of that period to actually shoot down, the superior technology of a flying saucer, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that was one of my questions.
A bit like
for
a
you.
jet aircraft trying, fighting a glider. Yeah.
That was one of my questions for you, Nigel. I mean, weren't these triplanes built out of like balsa wood and the lightest metal possible?
Yeah, they don't look as if they can fly. Actually, it's quite remarkable when you come up close to an aircraft of that period, because it's just fabric and wood and a bit of metal and an engine, really, and it was the most basic form of possible form of flight, really, and to go against anything even 10 years moderner would be totally incredible, really.
Right.
But I think that's the point of that story, though, is that quite a few reports have circulated after the First World War, or attributing events that they say occurred then. Another one is the missing. There's supposed to have been a load of missing British troops from the Gallipoli campaign in Turkey, and there it's attributed to a strange cloud flying over a hill.
4,000
abducting of his soldiers.
The Royal Norfolk Regiment, right?
And that's quite a famous case that's been repeated a lot, but there again it's down to a bit of misinterpretation, really.
I was just one last thing. I wanted to clip back to that Red Baron story.
Yeah.
That the gentleman who told the story was well over 100, correct? He was like 107, and he told the story 80 years later to the Mirror. So you almost have to wonder, was he kind of pushed to tell this story and embellish on it, or? I think Nigel's still hooking up here. There we go. Do you think that Peter Wetzik...
I'm back.
Yep. We were just finishing up that Red Baron story with the fact that the gentleman, Peter, is it Waitzrak? That he was about... It was 80 years later. Do you think he was
That's right, yeah.
kind of pushed to tell this story to the Mirror? Maybe offered a little cash. You never know.
I think that's a...
Ben, I do know what you're saying, though, Nathan, because it was reported that was the Red Baron's fellow pilot, Peter Watzrick, is how
Watzrick,
yeah,
yes.
He allegedly witnessed the epic encounter in the skies between the Red Baron and the UFO. He said his quote that Nigel used in his book was, "We were terrified because we'd never seen anything like it before. The Baron immediately opened fire, and the thing went down like a rock, shearing off tree limbs as it crashed into the woods."
That sounds more like a balloon to me.
I don't know. The guy said it sheared off treetops, looked like an upside-down saucer, and it had people come out of it, small like children, people that ran into the wood line.
Some kids had built a balloon, and...
They had a real bad day then, didn't they?
How are we going to explain this to Dad?
We got shot down by the Red Baron. Yeah, that'd be bad. Nigel, did we get you back, sir?
It's showing that he's trying to reconnect the call here, Sean.
Okay, very
good.
Oh,
the call was dropped. Let's try to get him back.
Okay, we can try.
Give him a second there. And
I'm thinking a lot of people in Plymouth are on the internet this time of day. I don't know.
Yeah, possibly.
On the line, you never know.
He might have... Well, Sean, we used to have these problems years ago. Maybe it's the government trying to block us from finding out the truth.
Very good, guys. Here on the G&D show, Nathan brings up a good thing. This could be the government.
Which government, though? Is it the British government or our government?
Well, they're all looking at us now.
Yeah.
The Brits, the United States.
We're crossing the pond to try and
We're bringing the
Reveal
information to the
secrets
masses.
that no one else knows.
This is true. This is true. Anyway, amazing book that Nigel has coming out, man. I cannot wait to read up more on this book because it's such a, I mean, UFOs in the First World War, nobody even thinks to go that far back usually.
Really, and I mean, when you think about it, how many reports have been made in other locations, other places during wartime is big, you know, but then again, during the war, like you said earlier, Sean, everybody's looking up.
Right.
Everybody's looking to see what's coming at them, and you just never know what's up there.
Well, Mr. Harzen, Jancy Harzen, the executive director of MUFON, it was on just a few weeks ago, said, you know, you don't realize you're always looking down. I mean, how much does the average person really look to the skies?
It's true, and like I told the story about the UFO that I saw that, you know, when we were talking just a few weeks ago, I just happened to be driving in a car that had a sunroof.
Right, absolutely.
And, you know, looking up at the sky through the sunroof and pulling over because there were 2 extra stars in the Big Dipper. And
you know, how did it like zip off? Is that what made you think, oh, shoot, that's...
Well, what happened was we literally got out of the car because I had noticed 2 extra stars in the Big Dipper.
Right.
And I pointed them out to my friend who was with me. And as soon as we both noticed them, it was kind of like they both shot in a different direction. You know, probably from where I'm standing an arm's width, but in the sky, you know, you multiply that several times over.
Right.
And then they shot back past each other, went back in the same direction, the same amount of distance, went back, did it again, and then shot back and flew away from each other, like just disappeared from the night sky. So they passed over us 3 times and then just disappeared. Within a matter of a couple seconds, this happened, and nothing I know moves that quick.
Right,
so.
right. Well, you know, I wanted to talk to the guys about this that we've had on, you know, tonight's guest and Nick Pope and all the guys that we've had come on. And I've just forgot about it. Dr. Stephen Greer. Of course, he's with the Citizens Hearing on Disclosure. You know, he's trying to shed light on the UFOs, trying to push the government to come forward and say we're not alone in the universe. He takes people out to, I don't know, it might be Mount Rainier. I don't know, but he takes them out there with this, I guess it's a high-powered laser pointer. Basically, he holds it laser pointer. He holds it in his hand.
Hey, Nigel!
Welcome back, sir.
I'm back again.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Having some internet problems. What about the Angel of Mons?
What was that?
Oh, yeah, that's another. That was quite had an important impact on people's perception of the First World War. Really, but people, particularly British soldiers, in the first encounter with the German army. About allegedly reported seeing angels and other mythical or legendary figures in the sky that came to help them at critical moments in the battle. And the most common sightings were of like angels coming to protect them, and or Saint Michael and other sort of figures that were important in British sort of identity, really. And unfortunately, a lot of these stories didn't really get circulated until 1915. So a lot of the stories are being kind of revamped or refurbished to suit the propaganda of the period, but they also give a lot of encouragement to the forces to, carry on fighting, because it felt like that they were on the side of right against evil, really. But there are 1 or 2 sort of first-hand accounts, but it's hard to really establish what people saw because it's such a confusing period, and some people say it was perhaps down to, wartime hysteria or exhaustion might have caused quite a lot of these sort of images. But it's just interesting that a lot of them are associated with battles where they expected to be overrun by
Some of the guys said that the angels were dancing on wings of the plane, doing the can-can. What about those reports?
All right, I think that's another type of report where the thought that there's these aircraft attacking them that were flown by a squadron of women who were like phantom women from mythology, right. And they were quite intriguing stories. But there again, like most of these stories, we've got mundane explanations where they say that perhaps it was during some sort of pantomime that one of us flying officers had dressed up as a woman, and that helped bring about these rumours that sort of as women pilots going around doing incredible, shooting down people, and had this. I think it was called like a Valkyrie squadron, where they thought that there's this squadron of female pilots were coming to shoot down British pilots.
Wow.
But I think there again, it's probably part of these stories sort of grew during the war, really. But we're quite intriguing to look back at them and see how they relate to the way like UFO stories today kind of gain traction and ground over the years, really, after something quite mundane can spark off a snowball of rumours, really. And that's just one of the other little rumours associated with sort of flying craft of that period.
Now, Nigel, with all your research that you've put into these books, are we looking at mass hysteria? Are we looking at missed sightings, like the earliest version of nowadays people citing government crafts and thinking that they're alien, or are these basically genuine sightings of the time?
Well, I'd like to tick all those boxes, actually. I think there's never one simple answer to all of these sightings of phenomenon. Say a vast majority of them might be misidentifications, but there again, it can be for lots of different reasons, really. It can be mass hysteria, or it can be due to people being over enthusiastic about what might be in the sky, in terms of, say, the American inventors at the turn of the century. But I think at the core there could be some generally intriguing phenomena occurring. I think some people said, it might be rare plasma phenomena that could create radar returns, or people to perceive, intriguing craft like flying saucers or huge zeppelins.
Right.
So I don't think we should dismiss any of these reports with one simple catch-all answer, really. I think that's a problem. Everyone's looked for one all-embracing answer.
Because here in the United States, eyewitnesses said that they had seen President Eisenhower meet on a military base with aliens, that he had made this treaty or whatever. Now, of course, you don't know for sure, but the eyewitnesses said that. Do you think that the UFOs, aliens, what have you, have had influence over the battles throughout history with these treaties, maybe with the British governments, whoever would win the war shaping history?
No, I don't think so. I think the Eisenhower sightings are something that are kind of really based on rumours, really, just like, the alien bodies often reported being recovered from Roswell or numerous other crash sites.
Nigel, now you're going to have
a government or even a coalition of governments could really suppress.
Right.
Now you're going to have a whole bunch of people, Nigel, saying, "What do you mean the bodies were rumored?"
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
I said, now you're going to have a whole bunch of people emailing you saying, "What do you mean those bodies were rumored in Roswell?"
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the problem... the problem is what were the bodies people saw, even if they saw something. There might not have been alien bodies. There might have been, like some people say, recovered bodies of chimpanzees or test dummies and that sort of thing. It's a sort of a can of worms, really, that I've probably opened there. But I think until we can actually get hold of this evidence, and the problem is that's the basic problem of ufology, is we don't actually have a flying saucer or alien bodies to get hold of, or if there are any, they're in Area 51 or hidden away in underground bases. So until we can actually get hold of that material in plain sight, as I say, I think we're kind of crippled by trying to wheedle any information we can out of the government, but that tends to be just following paper trails, which can lead to dead ends, really, because I know the British government, and I think as well as the American government, have destroyed a lot of files in the past, ostensibly for, just to clear space, to provide more storage room, really, because a lot of these files weren't really regarded as very important.
Yeah, I think it could go either way. I'm not as trustworthy.
Or were neglected by people. So
I was getting ready to say, Nigel, I'm not as trustworthy as of the governments as you sound. I don't think they were doing spring cleaning. I think there's more to it. I think these UFO files amazingly disappear. These UFO reports, like with Roswell, if those were chimpanzee bodies or whatever, or something simple, why not show the masses? Why not just show them, hey, here's a dead, smoldering carcass of a chimpanzee or whatever they're sticking in there. There's something to it, my friend. There's something to it all over the world, and the people with money and power, in my opinion, are the ones covering that up. That's what I think. Nathan, Nigel, that's what I think.
Nigel is reconnecting to us again, Sean, and I personally think that it's all a hoax and that we're just being led along to a place where, our subterranean reptilian overlords can take over.
Possibly. But, like I was saying, man, it's one heck of a hoax if you're going to fool trained fighter pilots and airline pilots and people that you can't even imagine what they know and the training that they've went through. And then for the military to come out and say, we have no credible witnesses, when a 5-star general just said he's seen an unidentified flying object. If you do the math, if you really do, all it would take was one person to tip the scale on that. Everybody's, UFOs, and then one person comes out of importance and says, you know what, there is something to that. And then the masses would go, oh, shoot, we're not alone. So, on a subject like this, it's just, there's too much around it. The guys we've had on, Nick Pope, Stephen Bassett, people like that, they understand, and they reached a point where they said, you know what, I'm going to dedicate my life to this because it's going to drive me insane. Kind of like with, the paranormal stuff we do, Nathan, because we cover aliens, monsters, you name it, anything weird, kind of like Nick Pope does. We're kind of like the X-Files guys, except you're not as pretty as Agent Scully.
Well, neither are you.
Well, I'm clearly I'm the man in the relationship. Clearly, I'm the man because you throw like a girl. No, but say, but I was just saying. I think that. I think there's a lot to it. There's more than meets the eye. It's not a clear cut. It's not going to be a yes, they exist or no, they don't. There's going to be this and that's and who's what's and it's going to be a lot. What do they say? The truth is stranger than fiction, my friend.
Well, the difference between truth and fiction is with fiction you have to stick to the facts.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Otherwise, you don't get a decent story.
This is true. But anyway.
Hi, Nigel.
Hello.
Hey, Nigel. Hey, I know we're having internet problems. We're going to have to wrap up the show. Nigel, where can we get a hold of your book, UFOs of the First World War?
Yeah, I'm back again.
Nigel, we want to make sure everybody listening can get a hold of your book and find your webpage. Where can they find your book? Nigel?
Bueller? Bueller?
I think he might have popped off again.
Think he might have popped off?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, my friend. We're out of time, Nathan.
We are. Well, let's announce here for people where they can find Nigel's book.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Just Google Nigel Watson. The name of the book is UFOs of the First World War, guys. It's due out this year, 2015. I believe it just got released. Make sure you check that out. And Nigel's all over the place, guys. Hey, special thanks to all our homes, all our sponsors, Stitcher, Smart Radio, Planet Paranormal, Action Audio Apps. Hey, are you listening? They want to know, so check them out at actionaudioapps.com. Midnight Syndicate, Creative Commons, and Free Music Archives. Thanks for the tunes. Our special guest, Nigel Watson. What an amazing guest. We'll have to get him back on, guys. That's a big pond. Nay, from the haunted back roads of America. This has been another exclusive G&D Show interview. Don't go changing America. You know we won't. Demon Hunter.
Because we love you.
We do. Have a good night, guys.